Well, new polling is out this week from the Northwest Progressive Institute, and they say it is a neck and neck race for King County Executive Claudia Balducci against Girmay Zahilay. And joining us now on Seattle's Morning News is one of those candidates, Girmay Zahilay. Thanks for joining us today.
It's absolutely my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
We have so much to go over with you, and we're so close to the election on Tuesday. I want to start off with the fact that this has been a really nice campaign between you and Claudia Balducci. You're not seeing a lot of bombs thrown between each other. Why is that?
We know that we're going to have to work with each other no matter what happens in this race. And our commitment is to the people of King County. And the stronger our working relationship, the more we can produce for people in solving problems. I think that's why that is. And we want to model the way, especially during these really challenging times.
Why do you think you're the guy to be the next King County executive?
I think I have the vision, the track record, and the relationships to deliver for people on day one. When I think about the scale of the issues that we're facing right now, we're going to have to collaborate across all levels of government, across the private sector, across the nonprofit sector. And when I think about the people who have trusted in this campaign, this is the campaign that is ready to lead. We have on board in our coalition the governor, the attorney general, more state level elected officials than any other candidate. We have both Pramila Jayapal and Adam Smith, our members of Congress that represent the vast majority of King County, saying this is the campaign that they want to work with in defending our values when it comes to attacks from the federal government. When it comes to collaborating with the King County Council, which controls the executive's budget, I'm the only candidate in this race that has the endorsement of any current King County Council members. And so I keep going down that line of who is going to have the relationships needed to lead effectively, and that is me. And then we go down to my track record of delivering. You know, when I think about the things that I've produced for our community, it's historic levels of investment in our mental health and addiction system through initiatives like the crisis care centers to build out our region's recovery infrastructure for people who are going through mental health and addiction issues. It's making sure that people have more money in their pockets through the minimum wage legislation that I put forward. It's transforming underserved neighborhoods like Skyway with more community centers and affordable housing and more transit. That's what people can expect from me in the position of executive. It's collaborating across the board to solve people's everyday problems.
Shannon Braddock has been our King County executive the past few months, but before that, it was Dow Constantine for more than a decade. What did you like about his leadership, and what would you do differently?
I believe that Dow has been a historic level champion for issues like public transportation, the environment, arts and culture. You see the fruits of his labor in each of those fields, and I want to continue to have a commitment toward each of those areas. I think where I didn't see a level of priority and results are on issues like homelessness. You know, I want to make sure that my office is set up to respond to these intractable, persistent issues like the homelessness crisis, like the mental health and addiction crisis, like the public safety issues that our communities are facing. And if elected, I would restructure my office to prioritize each of these issues and make sure that we are collaborating effectively across the board to produce results for people, because it's unacceptable that so many people are sleeping outside. It's unacceptable that our communities have to deal with public disorder. It's unacceptable that we're seeing gun violence in our communities. Those are the issues that I will prioritize as executive.
A lot of this also comes down to mental health and drug abuse. I want to touch on drug abuse. Right now, we have a harm reduction model that the county seems to follow. What surprised me over the year I've been investigating this is that we're not proactively going to people suffering from addiction and immediately saying, hey, here are resources. Instead, we're waiting for them to ask for help before we offer those resources. Is that something you would continue doing?
I would want to make sure we're pursuing every single strategy needed to solve this problem. We absolutely need to proactively reach out to people and help them get on a path to recovery. And we need to help take care of people when they come and reach out to us for help. I think we need to do everything across the board. when it comes to harm reduction, the evidence that I've seen is that harm reduction helps when it comes to reducing emergency room visits, saving lives, reducing the transmission of deadly viruses like HIV. And it's also true that we need to track other metrics of success. In addition to saving lives, which is my top priority, I want to make sure we have safe streets. I want to make sure that we have no public disorder. I want to make sure that people have access to clean parks. And so I would pursue aggressive mitigating efforts, making sure that everybody has clean parks, safe streets, and we're saving lives. We need to do all of the above.
And I think you have seen the same polling I have that public safety is one of the top priorities that a strong majority of people in King County feel should be your top priority if you were to become the next King County executive. What does that look like under your administration when you approach public safety?
For me, it looks like the full spectrum of keeping a community safe, from prevention all the way to emergency response. Prevention looks like making sure that our communities have the resources that they need to live safe lives, like affordable housing and mental health resources, good after school activities to keep our youth engaged. And it means having a strong and effective emergency response system. When people call 911, they deserve a fast response time, whether that's from law enforcement responding to an issue of violence, or making sure that we have mental health responders who can respond on the scene to help treat people who are going through a behavioral health issue. And so we need the full spectrum of responses, keeping our communities safe through the resources that they need, and making sure we have an effective, accountable criminal justice system.
Of course, King County is a big county. Seattle, of course, being a huge population center, but this is a very big county. I'm curious, when you go out to places, let's say Ravensdale, Hobart, Enumclaw, what are you learning as you go around to these communities that maybe you had not appreciated before running for county executive?
How similar our priorities are. King County is a vast and diverse place. I've gone to urban areas that are unincorporated, like White Center, all the way out to the farm towns in Carnation. And the things that they talk about are very similar. Everybody wants to be able to afford stuff, and everybody wants to feel safe. Those are the top priorities that I hear about. Housing costs are too high, whether it's the seniors who live in senior homes in Carnation or people living in apartment complexes in Skyway. They want to bring those housing costs down, and they want to feel safe when they go outside. They don't want to deal with gun violence. They don't want to deal with robberies. They don't want to deal with muggings. And they want to make sure that our streets feel safe and people who are living outside have a safe place to call home. And so that has been probably the most compelling thing to me, is that no matter how different we are in terms of where we live or what we look like or where we come from, everybody wants to be able to afford stuff and feel safe.
We're speaking with King County Executive Candidate Girmay Zahilay, King County Council member right now. We are getting word from Sound Transit that there is going to be a shortfall when it comes to paying for the Link Light Rail. We're hearing $20-30 billion. That is certainly something that is going to be a big issue. I was going to say problem. Maybe it's something you're able to address, an opportunity. What do you see there, and how will you address it?
I've been on the Sound Transit Board for a year now, and I have been similarly shocked by the eye-popping numbers that we're seeing when it comes to how much it's going to cost to deliver on voter-approved projects in Sound Transit. And I think it's unacceptable every time I open the newspaper or get a briefing and see that it's going to cost, upwards of $40 billion to complete the projects that we've promised the public. And so what that means to me is that we need to design within the budget that we have. That means we need to make sure that the things that we are building out, that we can pay for. And right now, Sound Transit is going through a massive undertaking of redesigning the things that we have in our pipeline to make sure that they fit within that budget. What I've asked the agency to do is come back to us with those various scenarios of how we can do cost-saving measures, and come back to us as soon as possible, because every day of delay adds $1 million to the price tag, and that's unacceptable. And so whatever we can do to cut costs, whether that is on the small scale, like shifting escalators or eliminating escalators, to medium term cost savings like construction methods, avoiding excavating too deeply, or the big things, the big eye-popping things that people really want us to think through, which is, do we eliminate certain stations? Do we consolidate certain stations? Do we prioritize stretching the spine out, or do we not go out east and west? Those are all things that are on the table right now, but ultimately we have to get these costs in order. We have to build within the budget that we have.
Are tax increases on the table for this?
We just approved the statutory 1% tax increase that the agency just approved a couple of weeks ago, and so that's what's been on the table so far. I have not heard of additional taxes coming before us.
For example, RTA fees, stuff like that.
Yep. That I have not heard those being proposed at this time.
Okay. And then lastly, what's your closing argument as people are heading to, I guess we don't head to the polls anymore, as they're headed to the drop box, why should they be filling out the circle next to your name?
I am the candidate who has the track record, the vision, and the relationships to deliver for the people of King County. If you're feeling like housing costs are too high, if you're feeling like public safety issues are leaving you feeling afraid, if you're feeling like you're seeing too many unacceptable things coming from the federal government, you are looking for a candidate who not only has the experience and the track record as an individual, you should be looking for who can most effectively collaborate across the board to solve the scale of the challenges that we're seeing. I am that candidate, and I hope I can earn your vote.
Girmay Zahilay, running for King County Executive. Thanks so much for joining us, and good luck next week.